All right, let's take a step back and go to authentication again because there's something called service account that we have not discussed. So what we have seen in authentication is there's something called accounts and there's something called user account. And user accounts are used by humans like cluster admins, developers from operations team, etc. But there can be a scenario where when you need a program to access your API server and should be able to run the commands that you run as user or humans. For example, let's say I have an application and of course that's in a pod and which is in a deployment, replica set, services, everything is there. But this application is trying to access API server or basically trying to send Kubernetes APIs using API servers, either using kubectl or using HTTP commands or any REST web service call. Now, how this application will be able to do it? Because this application will run as a program and it's not possible for humans to log in and go there in the application and run these commands. So the application should be able to execute these commands either using kubectl or HTTP or any REST web service call by itself. But to execute these commands, the application also would need authentication and authorization. Now, authorization we already know. We use roles, role bindings, cluster roles, and cluster role bindings. That's fine. So that part comes later on. What about authentication? How this application would authenticate to the API server? So that is where service account comes into picture. And service accounts are typically used for applications, other machines, etc. One big difference between user accounts and service accounts is that user account is always outside of the Kubernetes cluster, and Kubernetes do not manage user accounts in any way. We authenticate user accounts using X509 certificates, single sign-on, webhook, etc. But service accounts are created within the purview of Kubernetes, meaning that service accounts are also objects in a Kubernetes cluster. So it is completely managed in Kubernetes. It is not outside of the purview of Kubernetes cluster. We already know that user accounts are not limited to any namespace. The access that they would get would depend on the roles and role bindings or cluster roles and cluster role bindings. But service accounts are scoped to namespaces because service accounts are object in Kubernetes and it is a namespace object. So when you create a service account, you have to mention the namespace. If you do not mention any namespace, that service account will be associated to the default namespace. So we have this cluster and we have multiple namespaces, and we need to create multiple service accounts for the applications in those namespaces. That means, let's say this application is in prod namespace. This application wants to access the API server or send commands to the API server. Then we'll have to create a service account in prod namespace and associate that service account with this application. Then only the application will get access to run those commands. So that's what service accounts are. There are three major points of service accounts. The first thing is that it is typically used for applications hosted in pods or deployments wherever. Point number two is that service accounts are maintained and managed using Kubernetes API calls. Point number three is that service accounts are scoped to namespaces. So let's see a demo to make things a little bit more clear. So we have this application, and of course this is inside of a pod and then inside of a deployment, and this application gives an UI or user interface which can be used by tech operations or tech ops guys to check the status of the cluster and its components or objects. So what will happen is that to check those status, this application will have to make calls to API server, and the calls would be like get, create, delete, list objects. Now objects can be anything, service, pods, etc. Now how do you authenticate this application with API server? I mean, the application should be authenticated with API server. How does that work? So for that we'll have to create a service account and associate that service account with this application. But by only associating service account will not help. We'll have to align these roles or these actions with the service account also. So we'll need roles and role bindings also, or cluster roles and cluster role bindings to associate the actions or verbs with the service account. So now what we're going to do is we are going to deploy an application. But for this demo, I'm not going to deploy any application as such. What I'll do is I'll run kubectl program inside of the pod, and then I'll try to execute kubectl commands from that pod. First, without associating the service account, and then we'll go ahead and give various accesses using service account. We'll associate a service account with this pod, and then we'll see various accesses. First, let us go ahead and create the application or create the pod. There won't be any application as such. It'll just be a very simple pod which will have kubectl running in it. Alright, this is the Docker file of the container. What I'm doing here is that I'm getting Ubuntu operating system, and then I'm installing kubectl. So this is the run command to install kubectl, and then I'm providing access and then moving this kubectl program to user local bin directory so that it can be executed from anywhere. These three commands, these three run commands, are exactly the same that we did in the client machine for our X509 authentication demo. This final directive is to run the command. Now see, I could have stopped here. If you are running a container, you have to make sure that the container is running all the time. Otherwise, it will come out. It will execute all these and will come out. So I'm running this echo statement dot echo continuously so that the container keeps on running. So this Docker file is there in the repository, and this is the file. This is the deployment manifest file. I'm using this Docker image to deploy it. Everything is same. I'm running only one replicas. This is the pod template. The name of the pod would be kubectl pod. Sorry, I have to make it small d because I'll get error otherwise, because it is not DNS compliant. So let's change it. Okay, so kubectl deployment, kubectl pod, and kubectl container. These are the three things that I'm running. I'll not create any service as such. And right now, it's a very simple pod deployment manifest file. It's a simple pod. There's nothing here. So let us go ahead and create a deployment from this file. And this is the file 9.6 depl kubectl pod. Let's go ahead and create the deployment. And I'm creating in the default namespace. So deployment got created. So this is the deployment, kubectl deployment, and this is the pod. Let's go inside of this pod using the bash command. And now I'm inside of the pod. I should be able to run the kubectl command. The kubectl program has been installed. And let us go ahead and try to execute the get pods command. It is giving some error that something is forbidden, which is of course authorization error. And there's something called service account which has a default service account. We'll discuss this later on. What does this mean? But it is saying that it does not have any access. So what is this default service account which is already there? We have not done anything with service account yet. So how come it got a service account? So I'll discuss this later on, but now let me go ahead and create a service account. So this is the manifest file. API version is v1, kind is service account, and metadata is pod is, and that's all. This is that simple to create a service account. So let me go ahead and create this particular service account in the default namespace. So the service account has been created. If I do kubectl get service account or SA, both will work. I have this pod SA service account, and there's one more which is default, and that is pretty old. It has been running for 10 days now. We'll come back to that later on, not now, but right now we have created the service account which is pod SA. So using service account, we do the authentication. So this is our own service account which we have created. Now it can authenticate to API server. Now how do we associate the service account with the pod? So for that, we'll have to change the deployment file wherein I'll have to associate this service account with the pod. Now remember, you cannot associate a service account with an existing pod. You have to delete that, change the deployment file and create it again. So let me go ahead and delete the pod for deployment first. I'm deleting this deployment, and now I'll be adding service account, and it has to be added in the pod specification. And this is the service account that we have created. pod SA. The keyword is service account name. Notice the capital A and capital N. And now I will create this pod with, or this deployment rather, with the new the service associated service account. Now this deployment has been created with a new service account. Now let us go inside of this pod again and try to execute the command. And this is the new pod. And if I type kubectl get pods, I should get the same error, but this time see it is saying system colon service account colon default colon pod SA. It is not saying default anymore. So it seems like that this pod has been associated with pod SA service account, or this application which is running inside of this pod has been associated with this pod SA service account. Alright, now how do you give access? You know that to give access we use roles and role bindings. I'm using the same roles file which was used for K8s user. Don't change it, you can use the same file, which is 9.1-k8s user role.yml. But here I'll do get and I'll provide get and list. Alright, the role has been created. Similarly, you'll have to create the role binding also, and nothing changes in the role binding except that I have mentioned the kind in subjects to be service account, if you see here. So the kind is service account and the name of the service account is pod SA, and API groups is space. API groups cannot be rbac.authorization.k8s.io. In the previous video I have shown you that in the resources section in the PDF file you'll find this API groups for all the various resources. For service account it is space. So I'll have to go ahead and create this role binding now. Alright, the role binding has also been created. Now if I go inside of the pod, that application should be able to run get pods command. And I'm inside of this application, let's see, and there you go. So I'm able to run get pods command from the application in this particular pod. So we have installed kubectl in a pod and we have given access to get and list pods. Let's go ahead and do a few more. Let's give access to create deployments. So from inside of the pod, I should be able to create a deployment. Also, let us go ahead and give access to delete pods from inside of the container. So that application should be able to delete pods also. So these are the two accesses that we want to give. And this is the file 9.8 role.yml. So in the pods, we have added get, list, create, and delete. And in the deployments, I have added one more rule. I have given get, list, and create actions or verbs access in this role. And the name of the role would be SA role. The SA role again, now if I do describe, I should have this deployments.apps get, list, and create. So it has been changed. Let us go ahead and try it out. So kubectl get deployments is working obviously, and let us go ahead and try to create one deployment. And this is the one, this is exactly same that we have been using so far. In fact, this is the same deployment file that was used to create the pod where we are running this command from. So I have not changed anything. The purpose here is to show you that how the service account works. So now I should be able to create this deployment, and the deployment was created. If I type kubectl get deployments, again I'm inside of the pods, I'm not going outside anywhere. So this is the deployment that has been created, and it should have created one pod also, which is this one. Now I have given this service account access to delete the pod also. So let us go ahead and delete a pod. Let's say this is the pod and I am able to delete it. And in fact, I deleted this pod. It will be created again because it is part of a replica set, but the initial pod drn57 was deleted. So I have access to do so. Let's see if I can list nodes. So this service account pod SA does not have access to list node. So what I have to do is I'll have to create a cluster role and cluster role binding. So this is the cluster role. It's similar to the previous one. The only thing is that I have changed the name of the cluster role. The resources are nodes and verbs is star. And I have this cluster role binding. Now here you have an additional keyword. If you see, just try to find out the difference. Pause the video and try to find out what extra parameter I'm providing. I hope you have found out. In subjects, I'm mentioning service account and I have to mention the namespace, which was not there in the previous case. Now, the reason I'm mentioning namespace because service account is scoped to a namespace. Even though I'm creating a cluster role which is non-namespaced, you cannot do that with service account because service account has to be limited inside of a namespace. So that's why inside of the subject, I have added this parameter namespace, and this service account was created in default namespace. That's why I have mentioned default. So let me create the cluster role first, and then let me create the cluster role binding. So both of them have been created. Now I'll go inside of the pod and we'll try to run the same command again. And now I can actually run the kubectl get nodes command and it is working perfectly fine, which was not the case earlier. After all these things are done, let us go ahead and do step 1, which is to give access to get and list pods in prod namespace. So far I was able to run commands kubectl get pods and I was getting the output of default namespace, and let us go ahead and do the same for prod namespace. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the same thing for prod namespace. The first thing that we have to do is we'll have to create a service account for prod namespace. Let's see if we have any service account or not in prod namespace. So there's a default service account which is already there. That's okay. We'll discuss this shortly. And I'm creating this service account for prod namespace now. So one more service account has been added. The same thing would be done for service account role, but the namespace would be prod. This is the role binding. Sorry, let us go ahead and create the role. All right, so we have the service account, we have the role, and it has access to get list and delete pod plus get list create and delete deployments. It's the same access. Let's see the role binding. So this is the role binding pod role. The name of the role binding is pod role. The SA role has been associated with the service account pod SA. Alright, let's go to the container. Now I should be able to run all these commands that I have been running so far for prod namespace, and it says it is unauthorized. Now I'll have to create the deployment again because the service account has been deleted and has been created in prod namespace. Now notice that I'm creating the deployment in default namespace. So I have the deployment ready. Now notice that I'm unable to create the deployment. So it is saying 0 all the time. And if I do a get pods, the additional pod is not being created. The reason is that, as I told you, that service account is namespaced. So if you go back to the deployment file, and this is the deployment file, I'm associating this service account named pod SA, and I'm creating this deployment in default namespace. So Kubernetes is trying to associate this service account pod SA, and it is expecting that the service account would be there in default namespace, but it is actually not there. So that's why it is failing. So if I create this deployment in prod namespace, it will be successful because this pod SA service account has now been created in prod namespace. And as you can see, this deployment has been created in prod namespace, and so has the pod. Sorry, I should give the namespace, and now I'm inside of this deployment, and let me try to get the pods, and these are the pods. And actually if I give in prod, it's the same pod. So by default it is taking the namespace as prod. Can I execute get deployments? Yes, I can. And it does not matter whether you give the namespace or not, because service account is associated with prod namespace. So it is showing you applications or pods for prod namespace only. So that's how service account works, but this does not conclude service accounts. There are a few more things which I want to show you. Let us see that in the next video.